On Tuesday, December 31st, 2024, around 7:12 at night, deputies assigned to the Wilsonville Police Department responded to a medical call on Southwest Nike Drive near Southwest Boone's Ferry Road in Wilsonville about an unresponsive woman inside an RV. Upon arrival, deputies in Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue determined the woman was no longer alive. Based on the circumstances, police said the death was suspicious, and Clackamas County Sheriff's Office detectives were called to help with the investigation. On January 2nd, just 2 days after the body was found, the Oregon State Medical Examiner's Office conducted an autopsy on the body and identified the woman as 41-year-old Catherine Grace Cross of Wilsonville, and the manner of death as a homicide. Several people who live in nearby RVs say the investigation has made them uneasy. "It's just bizarre, like weird," Aaron Green said. "I've never witnessed anything like that. That's what scares me. We have people that park RVs over here and stay a night or two, but nothing like that," Alan Worden said. "Something bad happened. That's what I've come to the conclusion of." Some in the area told Fox 12 News they smelled something near the RV hours before police were called. "I didn't think anything of it. It smelled like a dead rodent or something," Green said. "I never saw anybody going in and out, but there was always a white vehicle that was behind it." On Friday, December 27, 2024, a lawsuit was filed and claims a former inmate at a Washington State women's prison was sexually assaulted after being forced to share a cell with a biological man. Mozzie Clark alleges she was sexually harassed and assaulted by Christopher Williams in 2022, while the two shared a cell at the Washington Corrections Center for Women. Williams, who was biologically male, was originally placed in a men's prison after being convicted of a sex offense, according to the lawsuit. After learning Williams identified as female, officials transferred the inmate to WCCW, the lawsuit claims. The transfer allegedly also occurred after the inmate assaulted a corrections officer in the men's prison. Prison officials were well aware that allowing biological males into a female prison creates a substantially increased risk of harm to female prisoners, including intimidation, violence, and sexual assault, the lawsuit reads. Immediately after becoming Clark's cellmate at WCCW, Williams began to sexually victimize her, according to the lawsuit. Williams would allegedly abuse Clark while she slept, as well as take out adult toys and talk about how he wanted to use them on her. Clark reported Williams's actions to officers, but no serious action was taken beyond eventually confiscating the large bag of adult toys, according to the lawsuit. She claims the only advice she received to become separated from Williams was to go on suicide watch. Clark ultimately filed a Prison Rape Elimination Act complaint against Williams, the lawsuit claims, which was enacted in 2003, prohibits sexual misconduct in state correctional settings, including prisons. Williams was allegedly eventually removed from Clark's cell. However, Clark says the sexual harassment and assault she endured were caused in part by WCC's long-standing policy of locking female prisoners in cells with biological males with known histories of violence. The Washington State Department of Corrections Guide for Transgender, Intersex Non-Binary Individuals in DOC Custody States' placements are initially determined based on an inmate's biological sex, but recommendations can be made if an inmate later shares their gender identity with officials. A spokesperson for the Washington State Department of Corrections told the National News Desk the department does not comment on pending litigation, but takes all allegations of assault seriously. The Department of Corrections follows the Prison Rape Elimination Act. Standards for response to reported sexual harassment and sexual assault, the spokesperson said. If an incarcerated individual claims to have been sexually harassed or assaulted, the alleged perpetrator and the alleged victim are separated so that they are not housed together. The spokesperson also directed TNND to the department's comprehensive housing assignment process, which helps determine where an inmate is placed, considering objective criteria that includes their gender identity. All relevant situations are considered on a case-by-case basis, with a focus on safety for all involved, according to the spokesperson. A homicide investigation is underway in Parkland after the Pierce County Sheriff's Department said a man's body was found on a jogging trail on January 5th. He's a Hispanic male, mid-30s. We have not been able to identify him. Hopefully, with some info we've received from neighboring communities, we do hope to identify him soon. Deputy Carly Capetto, Public Information Officer with the Pierce County Sheriff's Department, said. She said at first, deputies conducted a welfare check, but their investigation quickly took a turn. When deputies arrived, they were able to confirm that this was not a natural death, and we are deeming this as a homicide, Capetto said. She's not able to say how the man died, but did say no weapons were found. We're just in shock that it was 60 feet from our house, our front door, and kind of scary because we walk our dogs there and so do a lot of people, Sarah Simmers, who has lived in the area for 5 years, said. She said she didn't hear or see anything out of the ordinary. It's kind of crazy that it's such an open area and high traffic, and we do have a lot of homeless people living there. There's a creek that runs through, so they live over there. So we do have a lot of high traffic and a lot of characters. But it's unfortunate and disappointing that it happened at a local park, Simmers said. It's not the news neighbors wanted to hear, especially just 5 days into the new year. We definitely don't want to be so close to a dangerous place or where violence is happening, especially if we want to start a family, so it makes us think twice about this area, Simmers said. Last year, the first homicide investigation didn't happen until March of 2024, according to Capetto. She said they do not believe there is any threat to the surrounding community, and they do not have any information about a suspect at this time. A 69-year-old man is facing charges after police say he held a woman against her will and sexually assaulted her for multiple days in her Portland home. Police say the 74-year-old victim was returning home from the grocery store on December 23rd when she stopped to rest due to the weight of her grocery bags when a man, later identified as Kenneth Gregory Williams, approached her and offered to help. Williams carried the victim's grocery bags to her home, where police say he barricaded the door from inside and prevented her from leaving. According to police, the victim reported that between December 23rd and December 25th, Williams sexually assaulted her multiple times. She was able to convince him to leave on December 26th, after which she went to a hospital for treatment. Detectives were able to identify the suspect as Williams, who was located and arrested on Sunday, January 5th. Williams was booked into the Multnomah County Jail for 3 counts of first-degree sexual assault, first-degree kidnapping, first-degree coercion, and first-degree burglary. Williams pleaded not guilty to the charges on Monday and will be arraigned on the indictment on January 14th. Detectives believe there could be additional unreported cases involving Williams. According to court records, Williams was arrested for misdemeanor harassment and menacing in June 2024. He was also arrested in 2008 for coercion and tampering with a witness. Between 1994 and 2008, he had multiple drug-related robbery and/or misdemeanor crimes arrests.